Do you know on Facebook when like the older people will post that Facebook thing where they're like, I do not consent to Facebook to whatever.
I declare bankruptcy.
Yes, I declare bankruptcy. Anyways, on that related note,
show on the road.
Show, folks.
What's up, guys? How's it going, folks? We're restarting all of this because we messed up the last couple of videos, but this time it'll be proper. So the first video that we're probably going to do, well, not probably, it's the one that we're recording right now, is one that I feel like everybody, or we feel like everybody needs to know how to do, is how to audit an account, what to look for when you're looking at an account. Basically, the different patterns, the different places to look, different call outs, all that stuff. And because I'm lazy, we're going to get Colby to do it, and then I'm going to yell at Colby.
And so the one sad thing about our videos being removed is I had a lot of fun jokes in them. So you're going to have to start with new jokes, new material. The one thing that I liked about one of the other ones is when we first got started, Usama texted me at 5 a.m. the day of and told me that today was my day to record and that I should be prepared.
Yes.
And so I just want everyone to know that's the kind of person I'm working with.
I do.
And Andrew's an angel. No problems to Andrew. All right. Let's audit an account.
Oh, yeah. We didn't introduce Andrew. Guys, this is Andrew. Say hi, Andrew.
Hello, everyone in the interwebs.
In the interwebs. Sweet. So Colby's going to audit an account. I'm going to tell Colby everything he's doing wrong with his account, which is probably going to be everything he's doing wrong with the account. And then we're just going to talk about it. Let's do it.
I declare bankruptcy. All right. So the way I like to start and basically go in and give any account an audit is by starting out with the search terms, regardless of if it is e-commerce, lead gen. You're going to get all of the most important data because regardless of the party working before you or maybe even yourself, maybe the account structure isn't proper, but what's going to be the guiding force for a lot of what's going on, whether it's shopping or search, is the search terms that users are searching and how they're drawing a conversion. So what we like to do typically is pop on over into the search terms. You like to grab a decent amount of data unless it's a huge account with a lot of spend. Maybe you can do 30 days, but let's say you're going and doing an audit. You want to impress this client. You can go really far back. You can go a year, 180, 90. Those are usually the rules I do. Context is always a little bit different, but let's do 90 for now. And hopefully this is all blurred out so I don't get in any trouble. And what I do from here is I go and see what's spending the most. And then you start to go and figure out what's working for you. The next steps you, of course, can do within here is you search to find out how much brand is being captured in your non-brand campaigns. And I guarantee you that it's probably still happening in some, even if you're trying not to. We should note that. Here, Usama, you can do some talking.
Yeah, I was just going to make a call out to Colby's point with the brand stuff. A lot of the times clients will come to you like, we have a goal of like, I don't know, 5, 6, 10x, whatever it is, right? And then that'll be more of a consolidated goal. And they'll be like, it's growing our business, it's working. But a lot of times what people will do is they'll spend heavy on brand, which doesn't necessarily grow the business. It just helps them look better. So to Colby's point, as soon as you start looking at search terms, one of the things that I like to do, or we like to do, is sort by conversions. And we're going to use this as an example case. And we're going to start by, we're going to look at conversions. We have 14,272 conversions that have come in whatever date range Colby's looking at, or I guess 4,000, right? And then
right now, they can't see, but this will be brand that we're looking at here.
So now what I like to do immediately off the bat is add a search term filter where I do search terms does not contain, and then I'll toss in the brand name in there.
Yeah, I agree. So it does not contain, then you'd say brand here. So in this case, I'm just going to use the first 2 letters because that can help exclude that.
You had like,
do whatever you want.
So now this is an indication of how much of it was not brand. So there was around 4,000 conversions and 1,600 on. Sorry?
It was 14,000 conversions.
Was it? No.
Now.
Oh yeah, we've done it backwards. Okay, hold on. Let's start from the. Here we do this. Okay, we're at 4,000, And then
4,000.
we saw when we
14.
excluded brand, I didn't know it was that much. Hold on here. Contains, oh, does not contain.
Does not contain.
Are
Oh,
you
I
about
was
to
looking
tell
at
me
the
that
actual
it's
conversions.
75%?
So that's how many. So 1,600 is the amount of non-brand conversions we have in this account. Now, why is this important? It gives you an indication of how well this account is doing overall, right? So how much money someone's spending toward it. So immediately I see 1,650, 137. I don't know if that's the client's goal or it's close to the client goal. It seems like a pretty decent number to me based off the business model. So that looks pretty good to me right now. Then immediately the next thing I'm looking at is how much am I spending on this versus how much am I spending on brand. So did we lose it?
That's interesting. I haven't done it this way. What do you want me to do next, Dr. Khan?
So now I just look at cost. So I just look at cost right now. So right now we're spending, I don't even know what, you don't need to sort that. It's already there.
This
Mine
is
just
how
looks
I
very
like
cool.
to do it.
Did we lose Colby?
Out, but I'm here. I was making jokes.
It got blurry. Your screen is so blurry. Is it just my share screen that's blurry, or is it?
No, it's blurry for me too.
I probably
Anyways, Colby,
should be
read
the
the
host,
cost.
but since I have the content, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
This is brought to you by TELUS Broadband Internet.
But okay, there's like 1.1 mil. Is that right? Yeah, there's 1.1 mil of whatever currency that is that's spent on non-brand in that duration, right? And if we include brand in there,
Oh yeah, so that's without brand, and then with brand, we've a lot of brand that we're seeing.
So we went from 1.1 to a little higher, 1.18. What was it without it, Colby? Click it again. 1.18 versus 1.15. So we did not. Yeah, that's accurate. So we indeed did not spend a lot on brand. So in a situation like this, I have no issue with it. So that just means their brand is converting really well, right? Majority of their spend is towards non-brand. So good job, Colby.
It's contained. So earlier in the video, you heard me say like 75%. It meant 75% cold. I thought we were using contains, and this is one of my clients, and I was about to say, okay, you know what? Don't actually listen to anything I say because I don't know what I'm doing. But in this case, yes, like Usama said, we're trying not to go too deep on brand because it's not as scalable as those cold top of funnel terms. And one of the other things I think with auditing the account, like those pieces we were talking about, let's say you have, for this client's lead gen, so it would have like some sort of CPA goal. Now I mess up every time I'm typing something in here. So you would say, maybe we say, it's not conversions. Let's see if it lets me do CPA. There we go. And so let's say our CPA goal is to keep it under $500 or whatever this fund currency could be. Now, what we would do is we would look and see, this currency actually says greater than, doesn't it? Here, we're going to switch it around.
Colby's struggling with math.
I'm learning. All right. So here's the fun thing I like to do when I'm doing like an on-call audit is we go and figure out what their goal is, and then we can directly talk about how much revenue or how much they are going over. So let's say we don't want the CPA to be over $500. We'd say, right now you're spending $840,000 out of like $1.1 million on leads that are above that goal. So in this instance, my instance, that's not necessarily the goal, but for the sake of this argument, you'd say you are spending way too much on conversions, or your conversion cost is way too high, and maybe you need to go under your cost or look into your offline CPA and start to determine where you can scale something lower. Or maybe it's going back to them and saying that goal of 500 actually isn't reasonable. And then we get into talks of NCAC and LTV, which is perfect because
that'll be our next
Dr. Khan will be talking about that with you in another call.
But going back to Colby's point with the CPA, put that filter back on. We're just going to give them all the sauce.
All the sauce.
I don't know where I got that from. I used to have an old mentor, and you'd be like, I'm just going to give you all the sauce.
All the sauce.
But so now going back to this, because let's just say in this case, the CPA target was less than 500, right? Some of the call outs you can make is like there's certain keywords that are getting decent spend could probably get more spend if you isolated or leveraged it better. So that's one. Like, let's just say that one spent 39,000 almost.
Yeah, and
35.
don't do what I just did, and you would tack on the two. Hate how it does this. But make sure you add both filters, because right now brand's getting included in here.
Yeah. So ignoring that, but then the other thing you would do when it's non-brand is, I personally like to just start scrolling through these keywords, the ones that are under my target or like at target or below target or like hitting target, right? And I'll look for patterns. There's always patterns in the keywords that are performing at a certain level, always. And if you're extremely lazy, download the keyword list, toss it into GPT. We have AI now.
Yeah, not even, honestly, just do that. Get it organized, because what I find often with when someone else is managing it is they get stuck into these arbitrary boxes that they think that their campaigns and ad groups have to exist. And there's also probably a lot of overlap if it's a bigger account, and that's preventing them from scaling properly or performing well. If you just go dump all the search terms into some sort of AI tool, make sure what I like to do first is put this into a spreadsheet. If you're smart and stuff, do a pivot table. And then if you're not smart too, it doesn't matter if you do a pivot table. I'm sorry. Then what you can do is then upload it to ChatGPT, and then, or whatever
use that
you want to use, and then get it to differentiate and bucket.
Yeah, just straight up be like, look for patterns in these keywords. They're all converting under $500. Tell me what you notice. Just keep it a stupid, simple prompt and run that.
Yeah, and then if you're in the spreadsheet side of things too, you can just start filtering by these different concepts that you find, and then relating them back to total cost, what percentage of the cost is, what percentage of conversions they're bringing in, and then you can start to craft a strategy around the search terms that are actually bringing value, and then cut out everything that's not.
What Colby said. You can also flip the script on that, and then anything above $500, be like, look for patterns for the keywords that are over $500, and then
that's also true.
Those.
Yeah, and look at it's like maybe your CPC strategy needs to adjust.
What I do, I just ask it for. I give it what I want out of it, and then I ask it, what KPIs do you want, and then I just put those columns in. And then I just give it the data to do whatever the heck, and then look at the insights it gives me.
I agree. I agree.
What are we looking at next after the search terms?
Do we want to do, you know what, after this, I would probably go and let's say we have an e-commerce client, for example. And so if you have an e-commerce client, let me show you what I like to do. So e-commerce client, you can still do the search term piece. But a next thing that you can do, and there's multiple ways to do this, but you then do the same thing, but for products. And I like to look at things important like the actual price of the product. And same thing where we start playing around with the filters here and whatnot, and determining, okay, what products are generating us the most revenue. I mean, you could break it down by category if things are well organized. If things are well organized, bless you and your organization. Usually it's not. But with this, I usually, once again, I'm always looking for things to cut. And so sometimes I'm looking at the price of items and trying to figure out what that average AOV is. And I might say, hey, you know, you're spending 20% of your budget on items that are significantly lower than your AOV. And because of that, you're losing out, and you are distributing budget to something that's going to give you less revenue than if you were to give that budget to an item that would cost more money. And that's a very common problem that I see. So I would say you can use a similar mentality here with products. And if you're saying, why are you in the product section? The reason I like to come to the product section and export this is because you can't get price in the reports. I don't know why. They don't let you. So you export this, and then you can have the product price in a table. And then you can do the same thing where maybe you use a tool like Flow Boost, maybe you don't, and you just bucket it.
We really gotta get an affiliate link for Flow Boost, honestly.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk.
We promote it, but go on.
Hold on here. I got to go back to my script. Oh yeah, big problem. A big problem we see in e-commerce a lot is product titles. A lot of people generally forget that there's a pretty good script that you should. And when I'm saying script, I don't actually mean script, but product titles can be up to, it's either 150 or 155 characters, and I believe the user sees 90. Oftentimes, you'll see that they are not being used entirely to the best of their ability. Like casually in my mind, I'm like, all right, let's keyword stuff it. Now, you don't necessarily keyword stuff it, but I'm going to attach in the description of this some of the best practices for how to organize your product titles. And from there, you can try to style your titles that way, and then get as many terms like high, popularly, well converting search terms in your product titles and keep them descriptive, so you can help get more awareness. And like popularly, like if you have a zombies campaign, you have or a no index, you have these products that are getting absolutely zero visibility. This is a good place to start if you have thousands of SKUs. There are automated solutions to this. I'm not thrilled with them, but I think they'll probably be getting better with time. I know deep down in the grapevine, Mr. Glenn Wilson out there in the world, if you can hear us, is working on a solution. So if we ever hear anything about that, he's the person to talk to.
If you're coming into, let's say, an e-com account and you're wanting to kind of just go through product title stuff to see what's good, what's not, what are some things that kind of stick out as being really poorly optimized versus very good, or something that would make you happy with how those product titles are mapped out?
It's a good question. And so since I don't have the reference in front of me, it slightly scares me, but let me tell you what I know. What I do know is that you start from the basis, and depending on how popular your brand is, you're going to go put that at the front or the back. Now, if you are a brand that's selling like Nike shoes or something, Nike is the highest search volume term you're going to have. You want that to be at the front. But if you are a mom and pop shop, or even, it doesn't really necessarily matter as long as your brand isn't the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
You put it at the back, and you let those other terms drive. And so generally speaking, you're supposed to have like your descriptive terms, like what the product is, size, color, material, all those different descriptive facts, gender, whatever you want to put in there. And that's going to help not only Google, but users define what it is. And it's also a sneaky way to try to differentiate against your customers or your competition, because on shopping, there's only so much they can see. So how can you look just slightly different?
Yeah.
And also product titles, that's a big thing. Google used to disapprove you if you use lifestyle shots. Now, we're probably blurring this out so you can't see anything, but lifestyle shots, Google actually allows you to make through their platform. You have to do it one by one. So good luck to you if that's what you're going to do. But if not, you can use some sort of AI tool to go further with that. I honestly think Google will probably do it all for us eventually. Probably by the time one of you makes a cool solution, they'll launch it, because that's how life works.
So just building upon all that, if you want to check the relevancy of your, what do you call it, product titles, again, go back to your search terms. Go look at what's converted in there, and then go look at what you actually have in your titles, whatever it is, right? And if it's even relevant, like if, let's just say, you're selling a shirt that...
Yeah, you can talk. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Selling a shirt that's orange polo shirt with an alligator on it, and then your search terms are converting for something completely random, just random. Actually, that's a horrible example. I don't have a good example for this.
www.orangepoloshirts.com. Get your affiliate link.
In a perfect world, you just want to make sure that like the things that the people in your audiences or your product niches are searching for are the way that you're trying to structure your product title, so that there's that cohesiveness between what people are looking for and the products that are actually populating in their searches, so that it's an instant kind of correlation in your eye between this is what I'm looking for, and this person happens to have written a product title that's exactly what I was
Yeah,
looking
like
for.
you want to capture some. I almost think of it that way, where it's almost like
Yep.
you get the most popular terms in there, and then you just start reaching for like, because I don't think people are going on Google and being like orange shirt, But
I'm definitely not.
That
You'd
said,
be surprised. You would be surprised.
there are things, but there's things like I see things like best gift and stuff coming up, and I don't think that's something you should integrate to your title.
Yeah.
For another client, I'm actually trying to get that out of it, but you can find sneaky ways to try and draw an audience, especially a colder audience, into your products by that. But be careful that you're not putting offers or anything in your search.
That's a secret hack that I love doing with these keyword audiences, keyword titles. So usually when I have product with multiple variants, there's a rule of 80-20 that I love, where it says we basically say 80% of your conversions are coming, 80% of anything happens from one action, and 20% is just problematic, right? So in the same thought process, 80% of your conversions are probably coming from one product focusing on a particular search term that's been working really well, right? Leave that. If you have a variant of the product, of the same product, let's just say it's a different size, go find what other search terms just seems to be working well for that product, but isn't getting enough attention. Change the title in that product, right? And then change the description to reflect those search terms that aren't getting enough attention. Now you have your core product with your core search terms that are converting really well, which is like, I don't know, 60, 70, 80% of your conversions. Then you have these outlier keywords, which just didn't get enough attention, right? Adjust the title, adjust the description, put those keywords in there. And if you want, test them with a separate budget. And now you just found you went from one group of keyword, one audience to another that you can build up and then scale up from it. That is all. Thank you for coming to my TED
I love that. As I'm thinking too, we're kind of derailing a bit, but honestly, it's all about derailing. So let's talk about just
know that whenever me, Colby, and Andrew sit down, we start somewhere and somewhere else, but it'll be something.
Yeah, this conversation is not brought to you by Vivens. So what I like to do with all of this is the 80-20 rule. I think they call it Pareto. I hear oh my God, I tried to say Glenn and John at the same time, but it's actually John and Cossum. You might know them. They exist in the Google ad sphere. Now, with that Pareto principle and oh my God, and then I almost called Usama Khan. What a
Racist. We are off the rails today.
Yeah, today is crazy. Okay, so where am I going with this? Long story short is segmentation is the name of the game, and you need to look through all these products and figure out where, that 20% that's making you that revenue. And then I'm getting into strategy, but I just see it so common that it just drives me crazy, is that you need to segment based on the performance of your products, not on how you feel. So the campaign, you'll often see that campaigns aren't distributing their budget properly to the best performers. So
my next topic, finish your statement and then I will.
Isolate the budget, give more budget to that 20%. You can use tools like Flowboost and go from there.
Sweet. Now that we're talking about budget, one of the big core factors, Colby, just go to campaigns. Campaign level. One of the things that I immediately look at is
budget. Say please, by the way.
Colby, can you please? Please.
I'm working on that with my kids. So,
guys, Colby has kids. In case anybody was wondering, Colby, he's responsible for other humans. Anyways, going back to what I was trying to say, one of the things that I immediately look at when I'm on a campaign level is budget distribution. When I say budget distribution is like how much of the budget is set towards, in this case, it's an e-commerce, how much of it's shopping, how much of that shopping is brand. I like to do tiered shopping. So how much of it is going to top of funnel, how much of it's going to bottom of funnel, branded terminology. Then I'll look at how much of it is spent towards search, how much we're putting towards YouTube and all that. So you're basically trying to figure out how much of a budget is brand, how much is non-brand, how much is discovery, and see if in this in that client's logical case, does it make logical sense that they're spending X amount on certain things? Sometimes you'll be surprised where all they're spending on is just brand. And that's been the case a lot of the times. Because we're so good at our jobs and we organize our stuff, that's not the case here. So good job, Colby. But a lot of the time,
I've actually never made a mistake ever.
no,
So
it's perfect. Anyways, you can just go in and you'll see people spending like 80% of their budget on brand, and you're like, for what?
big companies too, they'll say, "Oh, like we're struggling to scale, like we just don't know what's wrong," and then you go in and you'll run like, you know, the microdes PMAX script if they're doing PMAX. Maybe you look at some search terms and whatnot, and what do you see the number one culprit? You're like, hey, brand is everywhere.
Yep.
And that's why starting with the search terms, you find the biggest problems there. And then next piece is products. Let's see, this, I might be accidentally wrapping this up well, so maybe this will work. If you look at the search terms and the products, that's usually how you're going to segment your campaigns in the long run. So you just need to go straight to that data, and then you it's like a cheat. You can just ignore all of the other crap that's there, set up from the person in front of you, and just look and see like, hey, what are the users wanting and what actually matters? And then you can just, I mean, get some context from them and whatever, because if you're just being a rogue agent, then you probably won't have a job for very long.
Is there a Star Wars phrase where it's like the force will guide you? I just want to say, use the data to guide you and don't use guesswork.
I wasn't even actually a Star Wars reference, but I will tell you that I got talked off the ledge by multiple people because I wanted to make a 100% Matrix themed website that just talked to like the scene of the Matrix, and no one loved it as much as me. But
it was me and Andrew, guys. It was me and Andrew.
Yeah, and my loving partner. She's like,
she
gave me like a very that's very cool. Kanye was the reaction I think I got from her. So.
Okay. Last thing we checked. So I saw it in this case. YouTube is there. Always great to see. Look at the CPAs, but one of the things I always look at is the ad event types. So segment, Colby, please.
Oh yeah, I hate this because ad event type is. You think it would be called something else?
Yeah, I don't know why it's called ad event type, but look at ad event types. If there's some solid click-based conversions, you're good. But if they're majority engaged, and why do you have impression?
I just started this campaign. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging, Colby. Actually, I'm always judging you. But let's just look at all conversions, which is not purchase. It's a new campaign. You're seeing 11 engaged, 4 right there, Colby. 4 click, and then 9 impression. I don't know what those conversion actions are, but
this is purchase.
Yeah. No, all the conversions just has everything. It doesn't include just purchase.
Hold on.
No, leave it. The purchase one is the conversion one. But basically what I'm trying to show is make sure your ratio between clicks and engaged is nothing outrageous. Like this 4 to 11 is okay. It's like, what is that? 30-ish%, give or take a little. My math is bad right now, but that's okay. Like 40-50 is like the give. If you have like an even split, amazing. One of the tricks that I like to do, or I keep saying but we all do it. Especially in cases where engaged view is really high. Goals and settings, conversion action, drop the engaged view window down to 1. Colby, did you do it?
Here, let's show that.
Did you do it, Colby?
So, you're experienced Google advertiser and you never forget where everything is. You go here. You go and click on something like this, which is your conversion. You say edit settings, bada bing, bada boom. Here's where all your click windows are. We're going to have another video maybe on, Usama was talking about some complicated stuff with the click view conversions. And I think the thing that's worth pointing out here is remember your buying cycle. And that might make it worth having larger windows or shorter windows, because that's the way you're going to use that data, attribute it, and action it. And then when you tie that back to what Usama was talking about, the thing that we're looking for when he's talking about the ad event type, like impressions, engaged view versus click, is a clicked view conversion is the most engaged. That means your video literally got someone to stop doing what they're doing and they wouldn't have made a purchase. Now, it's great. It's not always possible, but the thing we're doing there is we want to make sure that you're not just freeloading on some channels and getting people that are purchasing maybe from another channel, but Google's just kind of like going after that warm audience. So that's a good indicator that it does hold some strength.
Yeah. if it's a lot of engaged views, that's an indicator that it's probably remarketing to existing audiences already. So avoid that. And I think that's everything. Then
To
there's
wrap it up, I feel like we've done a decent amount of talking
always
for
like
our inaugural show round like 4, but you people don't need to know how much we record.
yeah, you don't need to know.
You
Anyways,
don't need my secrets.
the last little bit is go look at their websites, look at their landing pages, follow through their funnels. The amount of times I've caught people where their shipping settings weren't, their add to carts were outrageous, initial checkouts, and then purchases were just falling off. Oh, it's a shipping setting. So go through their funnel as well.
And conversions. Look at their conversions, because you'll see like they're like, oh yeah, like we're optimizing towards page views. And
yeah, go look at conversion actions. Exactly.
Conversions is big.
Like triple
nothing matters if you're not looking at that properly. I
think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for joining us.
And join our
school. Smash that like button, subscribe, send me mail, give me $100.
Here's my PayPal, send me money too.
Keep a lookout for our Mr. Beast AI thumbnails.
Oh yeah,
100%. Exactly.